Yeah, it's a Friday. Do you know where your socialists are? It's another edition of Anytime with Ken and Alden. I'm Ken. That man over there with a smile on his face, smile, is Alden Diaz. Hey,
hello. Buddy. We are here. I am indeed Alden. That is indeed Ken. Woke is back. Dick Cheney is dead. The Muslim empire of Tsar Zohran rises. The NYPD up in flames. Crazy. This is
jihadists on the loose.
Jihadists
Burkas being passed
Arizona.
out at JFK. Yeah.
We got what is it? What's her name? Over in Arizona, Arkansas.
Which one? The governor?
Then Arkansas have a win. And we have Virginia,
then, New Jersey,
Jersey, yes.
California, Pennsylvania, State Supreme Court, Mississippi.
Yes. Colorado with the
Colorado.
wealth tax of $300K or more for free meals. We did not get Omar Fateh, unfortunately, in Minneapolis. That was a little screwy, in my opinion. But
Miami mayoral race goes to runoff, right?
Goes to runoff because not a single effing thing can ever be simple in this godforsaken state. I don't know. Bush Gore definitely splintered Florida off into a timeline that it cannot escape from, because there's not ever been a single simple thing here on a major electoral level. It happened with Gillum DeSantis as well.
Yeah,
where Gillum DeSantis went to recount, and I don't know what is going on here, but the elections are.
I don't know. Right. Something in your tasty water. But hey,
Lake Buena Vista over at
is that what
Disney
it is? I live near that. Wait. There's a lake in Florida named Buena Vista.
Wait. You guys have Buena Vista is
Buena Vista is a street I live nearby, but that's what Disney is on.
Disney, I think their property here is called that. If I remember,
it's some weird Walt. When Walt first came here, he walked these streets like Carthay Circle at California Adventure. This is what LA looked like when Walt arrived. Wow.
So it says Lake Buena Vista is the full name of the city here in Orange County, Florida, and it's where Walt Disney World is. That's what it is.
That's got to be.
Yeah,
that's got to be. I mean, there could be two Buena Vistas.
Like there are two Hollywoods.
yeah.
We have Hollywood, Florida, that is certainly not yours, Hollywood.
Yeah. Portland, Maine, all that stuff. But which, by the way, I've always you got to change the name. If there's a town that's got a city that's got more of your, got more of the press, you got to change your name. It's like a band.
Oh, okay. So I was about to say, what determines it? So it's traffic. It's clicks.
Clicks. Hollywood, Florida should be something else, like H-Wood Manor. I think we won. California won. Hollywood won. Yeah. There's two. I was confused. I was born in the city of Orange in Orange County, and then learned that there's also an Orange County out by you.
There's an Orange County out here. Now, then there are some situations though where it would unfortunately take away a little bit of American culture if we instituted that rule, assuming the rule's international, because that means Paris, Texas has to go, and that's really unfortunate.
I think it's got to go.
Iconic. Yeah, that's really sad. I know there are other Atlantas.
You got to go.
You gotta go. That sucks. What happens with Washington D.C. and Washington State?
It's confusing. Confused me as a kid. As a football fan, I was like, which team's from where? We got the Washington football team and the Seahawks. Which one is which? I was 10. I didn't know.
Are they Washington? What are they right now as a football team?
Commanders.
I like Commanders actually.
Commanders good.
As someone with no skin in this game whatsoever, Commanders is like a thing that I didn't specify what kind. I just said skin in this game.
You got the Franny alarm.
I feel like Commanders sounds like something that you would name a sports team.
I was pushing for Red Tails, which had some significance, and there was some push for that. I think that's what Mark Ellis wanted. Mark Ellis actually wanted his team to stay the Washington football team. He had bought all the merch. It was ready to go. He had it. He was good.
Washington football team. That's so generic.
It was silly. Like I didn't like it, but it was weird. That owner's gone.
Yes,
Steve, producer Steve. Alden's the first person I've ever had positive reactions to watching football team name. Yeah.
Okay, so have the Dolphins always been the Dolphins? There's a thing I should know.
The Miami Dolphins, Miami. Yep, 66. Yeah.
And they've always been Miami. They haven't moved like the Marlins did and wow.
Well, the Marlins started in our stadium, Joe Robbie Stadium, which is now Hard Rock Stadium. Yeah, absolutely. There you go. For some reason, Washington reminds me of the team, the Harlem Globetrotters. Hey, all right. Enough of this. We're burying the lead, man. We're burying the lead. Okay.
We're talking about America.
Hope arrived on Tuesday. Big election. Mini blue wave. All those things. There's a lot of thoughts, theories. I want to start here before I pitch it to you here. Anything I say today needs to come back to this point. Big day. Fun day. Exciting day. Hopeful day. I watched a lot of news coverage that day. MSNBC is going to become MS Now, which steals a title that I was going to make for a Force Center show, so F them. But I watched them. I try watching CNN because I actually like CNN. I like Wolf Blitzer. I can't stand Scott Jennings for 2 minutes. 20 seconds.
Sucks.
So anyways, that's where it's positive. There's things to talk about, lessons to take, blah, blah, blah. We're not political pundits. We're podcasters with other experiences, but we have a heart and interest for this stuff. But Alden, this is a big day, especially for you Utes. And I want to hear from you Utes.
Well, we got to start nice and early here. Nice and early in this day, I believe before lunch, Dick Cheney croaked. And so, well, I should specify, Dick Cheney had already croaked. But we publicly got the announcement of his croaking. And that immediately just was a nice energetic like burst. It was like a nice little jolt.
You felt it was a seal was cracked
because yeah, it was kind of like some sort of cosmic realignment took place. And we an evil was defeated. Like, maybe not like when Barad-dûr falls, but definitely like when they retake Isengard. Like it was one of those like, okay, yeah, that seems significant. It seems like era has ended. He's one of those people that just felt like an eternal ghoul.
Yeah.
But then that immediately set up sort of like, that was like throwing the ball in the air and then seeing if the Zohran wing could crack real hard and send it flying. Like it has to be one of the biggest days in Muslim history. I saw that being talked about a lot. Like Cheney falls. And then a man who was 9 years old, 9/11 happened, becomes mayor of that city.
Yeah, which has led to some wonderful discourse. Yeah, this is David K. Yeah, we're having the delay again. It doesn't start this way. You're cutting in and out, so we're gonna power through. I'm gonna let you speak in monologues.
They're throttling us with this delay.
Yeah, you're having it. You're jumpy. You're jumpy as hell. You want to come in and out again? You want to try to do some restarting? What do you want to do?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I'll hold the fort here. And Cheney's ghost got Alden, says producer Steve. It's something in the water here. It's something in this. I think this pre-recorded studio. I don't know. I don't have the answer for it, friends. I don't have the answer for it. But we like powering through it. A lot of things going on. And I was saying, I'm curious to. This is I consider Tuesday a win of a day, and a harbinger of things to come. I hope, but I also don't think, and I want to get on Alden's thoughts on this. I don't think it's a true blue wave. It is in the voting booth, but I think it is a reaction to what's been going on, which is at this point good enough for me. But the big highlight of the day this week might have been that sandwich throwing is back on the menu, as producer Steve said, and I did have a sandwich yesterday. Celebrate. All right, Alden's back in here. We'll see what we got going on. All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Why are we throttled for having the correct opinions? We're being silenced.
It's so tech. We've got, because you were on Bombad. You had no delay on Bombad yesterday.
No delay on Bombad. No delay with you and I on Force Center. No delay with me on Casterly out of this same account.
It's something with this studio. So I just got to. We can't do it today. I'm making a big note right now. Delete this because this is a repeating studio.
We have to do an autopsy on this room specifically.
Yeah. And it's just, or maybe you have a neighbor
for the issues.
Yeah, maybe there's a neighbor streaming, Wheel of Fortune or something, or Price is Right, and it's just messing up your internet.
Yeah, it would be one of those too. Somebody watching Bonanza.
Yeah. Take me to the big win. There's a lot of wins to talk about, Alden. There's a lot of things to discuss. I was saying when you were off, like, I don't consider this a true blue wave. I think we have a lot of people reacting to what's going on. That pendulum swings, but I'll take it. But there's things to build on. I have also said that this is kind of like when a smaller YouTube channel one day has a video that gets a little outside their audience and the numbers go up and you think, hey, we made it. But that's not true followers. That is just people that have come in for that moment. That might be a little bit what's going on here. So I'm ready for, in football terms, the letdown after the big win. A team wins big on a Monday night, they might lose on a Sunday. But I want to build from here and keep those wins going on them. But I want to hear your takes on this day, how it unfolded, what you were thinking going in. Like, did you have the hope that this would even though polls were showing Mamdani far in advance, far in the lead, anything could happen. Take me to your day.
Yeah, you're right that the polls had presented a lot of security in our minds. The cushions were so big that it kind of felt like since he won the primary, we had been celebrating Mayor Zohran. And I was too. But yeah, I mean, what we saw in the last few weeks of these campaigns was truly, and this gets thrown around a lot, this phrasing, but it was truly a mask off moment for the establishment Democratic Party. Because they've shot people at the knees before. They've made it very clear who they want to back and who they want to oust, with changes in the House for the last couple of years. Like, this is not stuff that we were unaware of, but the fact that the Andrew Cuomo campaign, which was already a bad campaign and a laughable one, but it had descended into full, outright, unrepentant racism in the last 2 to 3 weeks of this campaign. Racist AI videos, racist photoshops of Zohran being mailed out, trying to link him to 9/11. It was just complete, outright racism from the candidate that many of these people would have preferred, the candidate that Bill Clinton endorsed. This is that was what was the story. I think at the end was like, he is fighting a battle on two fronts, which is what AOC said in the aftermath of the victory. Like, it's not. That's why, and I've been backing off of social media in general, but like, I wanted to make that point too, and I posted about it. Like, the reason why this is the story is not just because it's New York City. It's the story because he had to defy the entire duopoly to do this. He didn't even secure endorsements from the Vote Blue No Matter Who folk, and I've ranted about that before. But he gets all the way to the end, and they cranked up the heat in the only way that they knew how. There wasn't a single "this is not who we are" statement from any of them. Not one. Not one. The only people that were really all in on a big level were AOC and Bernie. It was, SNL did more for Zohran than the Democratic Party. And so it was just like, that was the story, was like, yes, it is tonally and spiritually probably the successor to 2008 Obama, just in terms of how campaigns are run and effectiveness of messaging. And it did kind of make me remember how that felt as a kid. But this will always be special because it's kind of like, you get a lot of like, what has Bernie Sanders accomplished chatter. I mean, a lot of it's valid legislatively in particular.
Yep. Yeah.
But what it is like, this is what Bernie Sanders accomplishes, is that he got whacked twice by these same people. But to be able to open the door and prove that this type of messaging is possible. Because for me, as a thrice minted Bernie supporter and twice minted Bernie voter, like I was, a lot of us have been saying, like, the economic populism messaging works. and then nobody wants to listen. And now here you go. Like, this is a world economy. This is not just a city. This is a trade hub. It's not just a city. This is like seismic, and it's beyond just him. It tells you who's possible. Like, immediately after, I thought this was very smart. Hannah Einbinder of Go Birds, Fuck Ice Free Palestine fame, she, and also Hacks, which you should all be watching, she posted immediately after Zohran won, "Hey, Angelinos, you're excited about this? This could be our Zohran." And I think that is so smart. And everybody should be doing that. Identify the council person. Identify the school board person. Whoever that is. Like, it's time for the indie takeover. And I think that was what was exciting about it. So yeah, it was frustrating for me to see how hard, again, the Democrats went into racism toward the end. But it was equally as heartening to see that he didn't really need any of them. Endorsements have never meant less, ever, in my adult life. They've lost almost all power because of moments like this.
Though I did love the last second Hail Mary endorsements of Cuomo, of Trump and Elon and Stephen Miller. Those ones were really good.
and the amount of money that Elon was sinking in the last couple of weeks, and like, it was and also the ease with which Zohran's campaign handled really everything, but especially that, just reposting them. Like, that's all they did was repost the endorsements. Like, hey, check it out. Like,
no, I think that's the big takeaway. And like Steve says here in chat, that's what the Tea Party did, start at school boards and county levels, and that's what Moms for Liberty and all the stuff you see on the right. And I think there's some great people here locally. I've said before, but the mayor of Burbank, who, for the full disclosure, is now part of my family, was elected as a city council person. She swings Democratic Socialist. I don't think that's necessarily officially her her category. She won the most Republican votes in the history of Burbank City Council on the right messaging, and there's some Caroline Menjivar out here, state senator, I think, doing great things. So I think it's great. I think that's part of what is exciting about politics. And I don't mean to turn politics into a game, because we've talked about there's great dangers in that. Sports talk can ruin everything, including sports. But I think that's part of the excitement I had too. Is hearing AOC said it. I think on MSNBC, soon to be MS now, that I'm just going to lean into their marketing. Finding the right candidates for the right spots. We know Mamdani would not have won the Virginia governorship, but we had the candidate that could win there, and I was buoyed by that kind of stuff. And the old guard is the old guard, and that's what we're trying to break. I was telling you offline. I've heard good intellectual reasons for why someone like Schumer could not just come out and endorse him. It has to do with the money. It has to do with senatorial elections, and it could sink that kind of stuff. And that just speaks to the old system that we've all been playing with. And I think that's part of the hope for me is new generations, not necessarily by age, but by platform and messaging. That's exciting stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's exciting stuff.
Absolutely. And you're right, because it's like, whatever reasons there are for the way that the old system works, what the Mamdani campaign proves is that, like I said, you don't need it, and that the power of the people is always going to mathematically, like numerically, work out for you. The amount of 3 million doors knocked, they hit 3 million doors knocked right before voting opened up, and it's like that's a campaign, like actually having like those conversations, and not, just as an example, doing like sit downs with like Liz Cheney, I don't know who would ever do that, but I'm just a thought. And it's like that, doing this, getting out there and just saying with kindness too. Like, he also refuted the tone of the time, and also kind of in that, and I'll own this, kind of dunked on people like me in a very real way. Because we have been saying, me and people like me, that when they go low, kick them. We need to smite these people. Like, we should be meeting them and being like bastards for progressive principles. But Zohran comes along, and he's not a bastard for his principles at all. He's Superman. Like he perfectly meets the tone of that film. Like and that's why, and to tie it in with AOC's point about the right people for the right places, he loves New York City, and that was such a deep part of the campaign. It didn't feel like he was creating a personality. He was able to riff with everybody about local spots to eat, and about how much he loves it and how he likes to spend his time, and the fact that the now first lady of New York City is a local indie artist, also from there. Like their subway, like wedding photos, like he's of the place, and so that adds to how right he is. But in his approach, it was always with a smile, and that's not to say that he didn't have the smoke for certain people, but it was always in defense. Like when he crucified Cuomo in that debate, and addressed the fact that one of the accusers was there in the crowd, like that is a vicious, for the jugular type political moment that I've never seen in a televised debate like that. But he's able to do it from a place that still maintains, I'm doing this from a place of compassion for her, not just hate for you. Like Zohran is very much a save what we love, not fight what we hate character in that way. And it worked, and so optimism worked, and it worked so well that it brought out the numbers that you could basically ignore baseless attacks, a lack of endorsements, whatever it was. Like he went on The View, and I know this because my mother has been like one of the biggest View heads for the last 30 years or whatever. Like she's like every fucking panel they've ever had. Like this was old, the Rosie O'Donnell years. And she sent me a clip from it and was like, look, he was on The View, and they're like blatantly lying, like in a way that should be slander. Like it's like they're like this tame little show is like, so you've said inflammatory things, and you've never condemned Hamas, and you've never done, and it's like these are like really easily provable lies. They're not even like, oh, it's disinformation, they misspoke. They're lying. And when he could have shit on them and been like, well, you're a liar, he didn't. He just was like, well, and he just moral clarity, maintain the messaging, smile, confirm that you smoke weed, smile, post a video, smile. It was just expertly done, like water.
Yeah, he might be a once in a lifetime communicator, which is something to consider as well. Though others are great as well. But I love. I love, that sounds kind of funny. I'm excited and interested to hear more from you on this kind of a viewpoint, because that's kind of been something that's been with me over the years. I watched my parents go, well, they called us deplorables. We're done. We're shutting down any kind of talk about anything. I've watched that go low. Doesn't have to be so dirty. It has to be. It could be like what he did, because he's so clear. You say clarity of purpose, as Zuckerberg would say.
Yes,
I just keep saying it. Yes, I want you all to hear him. If you don't know, because you're right, those lies work. I've had a couple friends of mine who are longtime, like Democrats before I was on that side of the teams. Before I was in that dugout, very vocal Democrats cannot stand Mamdani, and they're not old. They're younger than me by 10 years, and they're like, I can't believe we have an anti-Semite as the mayor of New York. Like they're there, and they're ranting on Facebook all week about it. Yep. And so that,
even
that
though he can
works.
literally, he can give a speech in the park,
right,
explicitly addressing this. He can say in his speech, he carved out a whole section of it to address this again. Brad Lander has been out there with not just an endorsement, but a collaboration. There's it's not just like, oh, you missed that one time he addressed it. He addresses it every day, and they still are like that. And they still are like that. And that goes to show, like, people they don't want to learn. They don't want to be proven wrong. They don't want to look. That's the only conclusion I can have, is that they don't want to look, because it's not hard. And but to Zohran's credit, he didn't get frustrated with those people in the way that I am right now. And that's that's something I can learn from him. Like, he maintained this groove. And again, it's not to say that he ever took shit. I loved that in his victory speech, which I do think will go down as one of the greats of all time, for any campaign that I've witnessed, especially in my lifetime. He was able to say, I thought he walked the line between like, because Democrats always have this like, well, it's well done. I have so much respect for you, even if that person was like wishing death on you and making fun of your wife. Like they're such habitual losers. I was afraid that he might be like, well, Cuomo, you ran a great campaign, but he didn't, and I loved it. He perfectly was like, I wish you well in private life. I don't ever want to talk about you again. I thought that was a great way to maintain, again, the kindness of the man, but this is not someone that you can push over at all. Yeah. At all. He always knew exactly when to like throw up the fists, his dukes. Mm-hmm. It was expertly done, like you said, generational communicator. And yeah, I think the tone, hopefully, that it sets, because I think, Osvetnik here, my only worry, how will the Dems take this moment and squander it? A valid concern, Your Grace. I really don't know how. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I think a lot of it is going to be now. Do they back his plays on resisting Trump? I think it's going to be very. For example, Zohran has already said in one of his first speeches about the transition and in the presser after that he will hold all ICE agents to an equal standard of the law and that there will be no exceptions. I'm paraphrasing, but that everybody's going to have to be accountable. He does that, right? Let's say he does that. Let's say Zohran is the first person that gets an ICE agent like in legit legal heat for whatever reason. Are the Dems going to back that play? Probably not. Because the Dems love to talk about the outrage of ICE and everything, but they don't call for their defunding or their abolition. They're very like performatively against ICE. And the only people that are actively against them are people like Kat Abu Ghazala, who's like, whether she wins, I'm not sure like what her future is really going to be.
She's still trailing. Like, it's a road to climb. Yeah, it's a road to climb, but it good.
Yeah, they seem like they don't like her. Like it does not seem like a Zohran situation. Like it seems like the Dems like really don't like her because of her content background. Maybe. And so it's like, are they? Is that going to be Zohran's only ally? Like, it's hard. It's hard to know.
Yeah, he'll have a lot of obstacles in front of him. Just that obstacles of just the actual management of it, right? That's the hard thing.
It was nice to see Lena Khan on the team, though.
Yeah, cool. All women transition team. Yeah, that's the thing. Hey, vote for me. I'll be the student body president, and I'll put a vending Coke vending machine in the quad, and that's not something that can actually happen. And so then you suddenly hold it against it. That's politics to me in a nutshell. Why people get cynical with it. He's got to find ways to enact all the things that he has promised, and I think he will. But who will be in front of him to trip him up is the big question, right? That's kind of the concern I would have of that particular election. In terms of overall, in what happened on Tuesday, it's Ethan's thing. To me that's why I go to sports analogies a lot. Obviously, it's funny when I talk about Star Wars, I bring in sports. When I talk about sports, I bring in Star Wars, Star of my life. But when it comes to politics, but just the act like you've been there before kind of mentality that I like. This was not. You don't have suddenly a bunch of trans rights supporters. You have people pissed that their eggs are expensive. So I don't want to. I want to measure that hype. And not have my worry would be that the common folk on the blue side would put their, like Chewy at a dessert table, just be like, well, we won this one, game over. We can coast to 2028. We all know that that's not where we're at. So that's where I hope the leaders and the voters continue to learn from this, analyze it, celebrate your wins, kids, but continue to build a long season. We just came off a giant loss. As my friend Mark Ellis said, we lost the Super Bowl. It's a big loss. This is preseason. So let's continue to build.
Yeah. And it's very encouraging. And I think that, going forward, there's been a big question of like, who are the leaders? And I think what this, if anything, what this indicates is that group can finally form because, there are realities about who can do what constitutionally. I mean, look, I say that, but like, does the Constitution even matter right now? TBD, I guess. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out some way whether or not any of it really matters, because they're constantly testing it. I mean, like unconstitutional things happen all the time now, such as the renaming of departments, such as them openly starting a third campaign. Like there's, so I say Zohran Mamdani can never be president or anything like that, but I really don't know that because, I can't just assume that precedent holds. But he is a necessary new member, like of this Avengers situation. Like you need people to be able to look to, because we haven't had anybody. And Newsom, like he gets this W. He gets 50, the win. That's good. But like, is he? He really thinks he is. Pritzker, like that, we've talked about this before. Of like, there are some names to look to, and then, but I didn't really have anybody energized.
Yeah, I was listening to Heather Cox Richardson. I really recommend you all listen to her, a historian and a political commentator. And it's like, we still have 3 years. Yes, it's very old school kind of mentality of well, they got to start gearing up now to run. Like let's let these leaders should lead and be effective where they at. But it's hard not to think, because sometimes it's just a game. We think of it as a little sports contest. Who's the emerging candidates, and you want to form your leaders. So I think it's a measure. I stick soundly in the middle of that kind of conversation. Of there's some people emerging, there's some people I don't want, which includes Newsom. But I'll take the wins that he's led us to recently for what it's worth. But still got a little bit of ways. So let's let these leaders cook.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry, I got people opening and closing the garage over here. So Mando's doing a little bit of dog behavior.
That's all right.
Mando,
that's all right.
You're above this.
I'll clarify. The reason I'm salty about MSNBC, the name change, Ethan and producer Steve, is because I was literally days away from announcing Force Center Now, my live show on Fridays.
Yeah.
And now I can't.
Yeah.
Now I can't. They
now
stole
you have to rename Force Center Now, lest you be branded a shit lib podcast.
Well, because everyone made fun of it.
They'd be like, Force Center's a bunch of libs.
They already do.
Oh, I made fun of it. I hate the MSNBC name change. The MSNBC name change sucks. MSNBC sounds like an adult operation. This now change sounds like them trying to be hip. This sounds like Catholicism WoW in Dogma. That's the first thing that I thought.
See, this is Cardinal Glick. I think you're right. I don't think it's bad. I think it's good. MSNBC is a mouthful, and it's always been confusing to me. Is it NBC? Is it not NBC? You have to answer NBC. Like, they don't get to call election results. NBC does. The bureau, the head of the Bureau of NBC politics, all that bullshit. I like the name because it's quick. I'm all about. Like, anytime's your name. It's a beautiful name. Anytime in Ken Alden. I like that stuff. But I can't have it. It's done. It's gone. The dream's over.
Look. Laserbolt suggests Force Center Plus.
Yeah, Force Center Plus. That's our subscription service, $5 a month. What do you mean we have literally only 49 subscribers? We're paying so and so $1,500 a week to come watch a movie.
We're doing some reflecting, I see, on some the heady days of the panel boom. I love Force Center Alive.
Force Center Alive. That's not bad. It's not bad. Turbo 1975. Breakdown. Force Center Max. You guys are great. Force Center Go. Force Center Go. Force Center Plus. How about all of it? Force Center Plus Go Alive.
Apple
What's
changing theirs from Apple. Apple changed their service from Apple TV Plus to just Apple TV, which is what most people just already called it. And they're like, oh, this is part of our bold new direction. And I'm like, you people, like, these jobs, these are made up jobs. These people that are like handling the branding of services, this is a crock of shit. You guys are just deleting and undoing constantly in your Word document and getting paid 7 figures.
The HBO one is insane, but it's so are the mergers. So we don't want to wade away into banterland yet, but any other big takeaways, celebration moments for you? And truthfully, I'm not just like, it felt really, really good for me. I want to be clear here. but I come from a different background and path to get to days like that. But yours is different, and yours is, it's a powerful journey to days like those because you haven't experienced them a lot this past Tuesday. So yeah. Any final big thoughts on that? And we can go in any other places we want to go.
Yeah, tonally and emotionally, like you just said there, like for our age bracket or people in our age bracket that have, views more in line with mine. Because I could say like people in our age bracket, but like there are a bunch of like pastel board short boat shoes wearing dudes that have been very happy over the last 10 years.
Oh yeah, they've had a lot of big wins lately.
Yeah, like they've been just fine. And all their daddies are just fine too. Yeah, but for us, it's like that was the line, that a lot of people were posting. Like, good things can still happen. That was the thing. Like, it's such a novel, simple, silly little idea, but good things can still happen. And I did want to hone in on the speech, because like I already said, I think it's one of the greats already. This speech had everything in a way that I have not seen probably since early Obama, since the days of what myself and Nikki Kumar and our friend Reed Devaney all call OEC, which is Obama era complacency. That's something that we reflect on fondly, where we're like, God, man, you remember when like it was just like only Netflix had originals and all the streamers were like $8? Like that was OEC, baby. Obama era complacency. Back when we used to like have franchises, or seasons come out every year of shows. That's OEC. And Obama 08, had those iconic speech moments, and it just like really filled all of your emotional cups. And this did that for me, where I think that like inspirationally, it was on fire. Ideologically, the fact that he didn't, not only did he not throw communities under the bus that have been thrown under the bus since Kamala lost, but like named them in terms of support. And it re-clarified all of his stances. It had the participation, but it was also like very like eloquent but relatable. Like it wasn't trying too hard to be smart, but it also was not dumbed down at all. I think it was written really well. And then the other thing is that it was a perfect tightrope walk between beautiful, inspiring, and like family friendly, and also like really fucking gangster. Like the whole bit about Trump of like, I know you're watching, and then turn the volume up is so punk. I felt like I was watching a moment. I was like, we're gonna be saying turn the volume up for 20 years. Like I can feel that it was so palpable. It's already like being used as like a bass drop like line and like a sample in music. Like and it was also, it's like when you translate what that means to its most like base level, the most like fuck you level, it's saying, I know that you're obsessed with me and you're an old fart, so why don't you really listen up, you dementia-ridden old man. And we'll get to some of that later, because it was the comedy of Dr. Oz and everything that happened yesterday with the we'll get to that, because it's like the sheer comedy concept of trotting out a TV doctor to say obesity is linked to dementia while the president is slumped over in his chair is something that like that's like Tina Fey level scripting in that moment. It's just spectacular. But yeah, so like what were your thoughts on the speech, and how did you feel? You've seen more speeches in real time than I have. You've seen some iconic moments on television and not just like archivally, so you have more of a frame of reference for them. How did you feel about this? And also, we don't pay a lot of attention to mayoral speeches in the history of this country. Maybe now we will.
True. And I'm proud to say I did hear Bob Dole speak live in San Luis Obispo, California. All right. I did 1996. Oh, wow. Yeah. I'm Bob Dole. Bob Dole's here in San Luis Obispo. I watched it. I watched it live. I liked it. I thought it was correctly, appropriately fiery, which I know, Van Jones got offended by. I think that was both intentional and probably the moment, probably adrenaline, but he never lost control of what he was saying. The message was clear, as you're all commenting here. Producer Steve says, "Hey, Alden asks Ken, what was it like to see the I Drive a Dream speech live?"
Tell you don't remember when Ken grabbed his guitar? Ken performed with Pete Seeger.
Yeah. I was at the Lennon Ono bed-in. But yeah, he continues to be, like I said, a once in a lifetime generational talent, which doesn't mean we don't have others who are doing great things. I have my list of great communicators with their own styles, from Jasmine Crockett to Mallory McMorrow to AOC to even Bernie. I love listening to Bernie talk. He's got the cadence and energy of Chuck Schumer, but with oomph behind it, right? I think a little more energy, as Chuck is today trying to make moves. But yeah, no, man, I think it's, and to your point of a mayoral race, I mean, yeah, it's New York City, so we know it's going to have a little bit more weight, but it's a focal point, right? All eyes were on it, and everyone has an opinion. A lot of people who've never set foot in Times Square and never will are afraid of what will happen in New York now, and it's almost comical, but also it's real. And I think I continue to go to what I've told you and said today, and will continue to say about Mamdani or anyone else. Like when you speak with that kind of calmness, clarity, and purpose, you will change minds slowly, unfortunately, but you'll change some minds. Some people will see. Right now, there's just a bunch of stupid stuff being said. Even Curtis Sewell, who is, I think you and I can admit, somewhat entertaining. And somewhat a character.
He's fantastic. And remember, I didn't know who he was until he was chosen.
Right, and I've grown up with him being on Phil Donahue, and he was always a character. Yeah. Even Franny likes it. Yeah. But even him coming up, if you think you're going to turn this city social, if you're going to socialism here, like, you don't even know what that means, man. Like, you don't even know what that means. There's an entire generation. I'm part of those generation that was victim of red baiting. We're victims of red baiting and intentionally blurring, actually not blurring the lines, of dividing those lines. And I've spoken before about my family's past and how Stalin directly affected good and bad in my family. So I get it, but I think that's what speech was to me. Alden was here's what's coming. Someone who has ideas, because this is about ideas. It's not about one man. We're celebrating the victory of one man, but we're celebrating what we hope is the victory of ideas. And I think he has such a way of communicating those ideas. So when they start working, he can continue that communication. Or when they don't work, or when they run into obstacles, I think we'll know why, and I think we'll be effective. And that's what I took from the speech.
And to that point, the fact that he emphasized like the possibility of something not working is not a good enough reason anymore to not try was a huge theme. Like, we're done with excuses. Like, we would rather be bold and try new options and try to forge a new path and fail than sit around allowing a crisis to continue. And that type of clarity allows you to cut through the noise, because really it's very easily refutable bullshit. Like, they're like, he's a communist, he's a radical Marxist, and he's gonna take over the city, and I might have to send some people in, who knows? Like, if you get all that shit, but then like if you ignore it and just look at what he's saying, as he repeatedly emphasized and had the crowd do the callback portion of the speech, it's just pre-K, public transpo, rent freeze. Pre-K, public transpo, rent freeze. And by getting people to just fucking understand that, you're able to just like, you become Neo. You're just dodging all the other shit. You just unlock that level of like, I'm focused. And again, it harkens back to Obama 08 for a lot of us, because Obama 08 was change, hope, change, and that's it. And it works. This is not, I've said it before, this is not a 3-syllable country. This is a 1-syllable country. These are people of the land, the common clay of the I can't even get through without laughing. Morons. Like, that's this country. And they need simple ideas like, you're being conned. You pay too much. Don't you want someone to take care of that little brat that you have? There you go.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Look at Steve right here. This is many Americans right here. I will drag myself through glass to vote for universal pre-K. Yes.
Yeah, because Steve's facing that head on, right? And then that's and when that kind of stuff is explained, and it's not just about the older generation, it's just folks. I understand what you're saying about the one syllable country and the clay of the land, but generally speaking, people just want to, they like having their head down, not for any nefarious reasons, but we just all try to survive. And when your head down is looking at $52 steaks, that's when maybe, unfortunately, they start to look up, and it's not the what happens to other people. But this is just, that's why the history keeps playing, or, not even repeating, just keeps playing out on a string. But just like, it has been such a successful branding of protesters as criminals or, ne'er-do-wells. People that upset the apple cart, and that freaks folks out. The conversations I have with folks in my family of just like, they weren't upset that I went to a No Kings rally point because of No Kings as much as, but you weren't unsafe. No, I'd only be unsafe if your types showed up to cause problems. That's what I would be unsafe. But other than that, brownies, dogs, and smiles. But you don't know that because you're locked away here in those words: fear, criminals, thems. That dominates them.
I don't mean to step on that great point that you just made, but I just have to address this from Maddie. Producer Steve is the voice of America. I read this and I immediately thought, like, what if we were given the producerial reins to like This American Life, and we just installed Steve as the new host? I think they would really relate to that. Just like a cool guy with great hair, a couple kids. Like This American Life should be a gaming stream going forward.
Steve, you all should run for office. I don't have the energy.
No, but you'd be such a. I mean, Nick. Earlier there was a comment here from Nikki somewhere up here. There we go. That you should be the mayor of Los Angeles.
I don't live in Los Angeles. I can't be the mayor of Los Angeles. Want me to run for?
Can
Burbank
someone that
City
lives?
Council?
But someone that lives in Burbank not be the mayor of LA?
No, Burbank's a city. I did not have.
I guess I just
no.
Cuomo doesn't live in New York City.
Sure. Yeah. Hillary coming in. Yeah. No. I didn't get a vote in the Bass Caruso election. I'd hope that the LAans, Los Angelinos, did it. And in Burbank, you actually don't really get to vote for mayor. You vote for city council. And then they rotate in terms of office, and the city council votes for the mayor. So that's how Nikki Perez, Nikki Perez was on our council, and now is our 30-year-old Democratic Socialist adjacent mayor.
Hell yeah! We had a comment from Alan Smithy nominating Tom Dagnino to mayor of
No. You don't want that. You don't want that. There's so many reasons you don't want that.
I did not expect Dagnino to get played in the chat today. Is Dagnino still online?
No. I saw Tom last. I saw Tom last at Mark Riley's 50th. He's doing good. He owns a business. He plays golf with nefarious people, and he's Tom. He's always Tom. He's calmed a little bit, and he doesn't care about online life as much anymore. But he's still going strong. He's still Tom, and I do love Tom. I grew to really love Tom after a rough.
He's really
beginning.
funny. I've only met him once in Chicago. But I think he's a really funny person.
I don't know if I endorse all of his views and opinions, but sometimes he just says it to say
it. He's a provocateur, as it were. Any last Zohran thoughts? Because I did have a couple other things I wanted to address.
Yep.
One is related to the government shutdown.
No. This is a win, man. This is a win, and this is a big win, and it should be studied. It should be learned from. It should be celebrated. And we should also make sure we're aware that it's just one man. It's also one man that's going to be in a position of power that, that's why I bring up that stuff about I'll put a Coke machine in the quad. Like, until you become that boss, all those complaints you had about your boss, you realize maybe about 40% of them weren't valid because your boss had to do what he had to do. And so it's going to be, we'll see, we'll see if he keeps everyone happy.
Ken. Go on, Ken. I feel like I'm doing say the line, Bart. Do it, Ken. You know what you want to. Talk about Alistair Thorne. You always bring up Alistair Thorne when you talk about management. Say the line, Knapsack.
Say the line. Yeah, absolutely. But it's true.
Right.
But it's true.
He's making a good point.
Yeah. But I am really confident again because you said something earlier that I really liked. He's very authentic, and he is the perfect candidate for that city. And that's what people reacted to. And when I was not strongly entrenched on the other side at this point, but when AOC started to rise, I was like, "Who's this? I don't like this person."
Yeah.
And it was I had a conversation with Scrimshaw off air. I was just like, it's fascinating to watch Republicans make her a bigger star than she even is, because they're attacking her for being this whole thing about she was just a bartender, which we know is not 100% true. She was a bartender, but like she was also went to school, and she wasn't just like one day. And by the way, if a bartender wanted to run and won, great. But that was like they were like using that against her.
Remember, lest we forget, that's why the House exists. It's supposed to be reps from the area that had lives. Like, it wasn't supposed to be a career like this,
I mean, look, man. I'm watching like a lot of folks. I'm starting to watch Death by Lightning, and the first episode, Big Jim Garfield's on his farm, and he's also a representative who actually technically won a Senate seat and never turned it down by the time he got nominated accidentally. He was like, well, I got to farm all right, I guess I'll go do my government job. And they turned her into a star, and I think thank God they did, because now I'm on the other side of it. But like then that whole thing of did you see this video of her dancing, provocatively dancing? It probably made Mike Johnson get the vapors wherever he was when this happened. And it was, but really all that was like, you just made her. She is them. She is us. Like, And so when Mamdani can quote things that other people like, or can be like, you want some good shawarma, it's up on this street. Like, he is of that city, and that's what we need and want. And that's what people are reacting to. When he gets up there, the thing of final thought about a speech, when he kind of went through and named all the kind of, I'll say, genres of people in the city. Yeah. And each one of them got big round of applause. That's real. That's authentic. He's been on the streets there. The big thing, one of the big themes in the Book of Boba Fett, I love that series, is leaders who don't have their feet on the ground, right? That's a whole early first or second episode of, I didn't know you were here, Boba Fett. I didn't hear your litter approaching. He's like, why would I have that? This is my land. My feet are on the ground. I need to know what's going on. That's very much what's going on that show.
And then at the end, Drash, I always bring up the follow-up to that moment is at the end with Drash. So Sophie Thatcher's character, the mod, where she's like, because he wants to retreat to the castle to make them try to take the castle, take Jabba's palace. And she's like, no, the fight has to be here in the streets. Like, we can't leave. Like, if it's going to be here, you have to throw it down here. She's saying, we built this whole thing in the volume. It has to be here. It's
there's no jobs, almighty damn you.
We don't have the budget for the palace.
Sophie Thatcher, return your Sophie Thatcher, return your DMs yet, or no?
No, but she does live in Silver Lake. So if I could just crash with you for a little while, I could scout the area.
That's okay.
I could do
I'm gonna head to London. I'm not gonna stay at Maddie Gunner's house. I'm gonna stay in a hotel, but I'm gonna try to accidentally run into Amelia on the street.
You can check out Paddington while you're there. Have you seen the Paddington stage version that debuted?
Have I seen it? I mean, I know of it. Yeah, I know of it.
Have you seen the coverage about it?
Yeah.
And how adorable the Paddington looks? What an incredible feat of puppetry. Speaking of puppetry, this is apropos of nothing. We don't really have an entertainment news segment here. I guess it's not apropos of nothing. It's apropos that I just said puppet. But the Miss Piggy solo film that was announced that is co-produced by Emma Stone and Jennifer Lawrence and being written by Tony Award winner Cola Scola. This is insane news. And how have we gone this long without a Miss Piggy like comedy, like a solo comedy? She's one of the funniest, I think, female comedians of all time, even though it's Frank Oz.
Yeah, are we gonna get? Is Oz coming back? What do we got? He could still do it, right?
I think he still can, but he hasn't done it full time since like the early 2000s. I'm pretty sure.
No, I know that, but I just would love. You gotta have him somewhere. Maybe a flashback to her mom. Maybe her mom, Mama Piggy.
Oh yeah, that'd be smart.
I love it. Yeah, hit me.
So the thing I wanted to bring up, I texted you this on Monday. Yeah, Monday morning. So I got caught up in that Houston airport shutdown travesty. And dude, it was insane. But I do have ultimately a point to bring in this up. It's not just like a complaint. But
tell the folks. Hang with me tell the folks.
So I was in Texas this past weekend for a friend's bachelor weekend. It was a wonderful time. We went to that legendary Renaissance Fair, the one that they made the documentary about, and it was fantastic. And we had a wonderful time. Sunday evening, I was supposed to fly back to Florida. I had a 6:33 p.m. flight. I get to the airport at 3:15. I have plenty of time. I'm going to go through security. I'm not checking a bag. I always love arriving at like dad time. You know, I love to sit at the gate beforehand with a spicy chicken sandwich. Like that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be there.
For life.
People that if you are literally fast walking into the airport, I don't respect you. I'm already there. I'm scouted.
It should not come as a surprise that one of my former bosses that everyone should correctly dislike and was that guy. Was the texting, hey, tell them to hold the plane. No.
Tell them to hold the plane. Like as if he has that kind of clout, right? Like as if he's at all important. Yeah. Oh boy. So and Laser Bolt, by the way, I will say this Renaissance Fair is great. The documentary is called Ren Fair. It's a 3-episode doc. It is insane. It's been going for 51 years. Really,
and the guy died. The leader died.
He died in May. Yeah, so there was a statue of him at the front, and the whole thing is like larger than Disneyland, which I didn't realize. Like it's like the huge chunk of this town. Anyway, so I'm there super early. I'm going to this is at George Bush in Houston, at IAH, and I go in to Terminal C, which is the bulk of everything, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you have to head over to E." I'm like, okay, that's no problem. Like, which is E? They're like, oh, well, you can head down. There's a tram, and then there's a subway down below. And I go down to the subway, and it says that only a certain amount of people are allowed in each cart, but there's a 6-minute walk to E. I'm like, that ain't no problem. The new Florence and the Machine album is out. I'm bumping it. I'm like, let's go. So I do this 6-minute walk over to E. When I got to E, my jaw dropped. I could not believe the amount of people that were there, and the line goes. You can't even see where security is, and so the line goes all the way out. It goes all the way out, not just onto the sidewalk, but into the streets of departures. So there's police and everything. We're out in the road. And if you want, you can Google image Houston airport delays, and like you can see the sea of people. And the guy in front of me was a really cool guy. He was an American man, but he had lived in Australia. He's been living in Australia for the last 20 years. So he was heading back there after visiting some family. So we're all different kinds of fucked because all the terminals are being flooded into E. So there's no consistency about domestic, international. Like I didn't find another Orlando bound person until way later into this journey. So he and I start chatting, and he goes, what do you think? 2.5 hours? I was like, yeah, I think we'll be here 2.5, maybe 3. I was like, but that's fine because I don't have a check bag. I'll just be able to book it from TSA. And we're yapping, and then this takes forever. I don't get back inside for 3 hours. I said inside. I got a phone call.
Yeah, you're on the sidewalk. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I took a phone call, and I was on the phone with her for an hour and a half, barely moved. Called my family, let them know what was going on. Called out of work because I could already feel where this was going. Because even if I got on a flight that night, it was like, Dad, I'm not getting home till like 1, 2 in the morning. So we were in this line, I shit you not, for about 7 1/4 hours, just to see TSA. By the time I see a scanner, I have 1% phone battery left, and at this point, my plane has taken off forever ago. So I'm just trying to get through now because I know I'm going to spend the night there. And there were people that were panicking and trying to get hotels, or like, I'll leave and come back tomorrow. And I didn't want to be one of those people because I could feel just like, first of all, I don't want to spend money on a hotel, and my friends in Texas are in different cities, but it was like, there is going to be no, let me come back tomorrow. Like, this is going to be an all night, maybe all week problem. You could just feel that it was unprecedented. I didn't see employees, dude. I didn't see United people. Like the area where they have the conveyor belt and they weigh your bag at check-in. Families were sitting on there. Kids were sleeping on those counters. Like, I saw a woman breastfeeding while walking, which is just the bleakest thing you'll ever see. I felt so bad for her. This was a nightmare. I saw only the clear check-in people, one person that does like the real ID shit. And then I didn't see TSA people for 7 hours. The guy in front of me, his stuff ended up going to New Zealand without him because he checked all that stuff. Oh, wow. And it's like, okay, well, it's going where it needs to go, so that's not a problem. But now you don't have your stuff.
Yeah.
The guy, there's another guy next to me named Kareem. Shout out Kareem, because he really saved my ass, because he heard me say that my phone was dying, and he turned around and said, "Text me your boarding pass." And so he really had my back. And so we stuck together. That way I could use his phone to scan. He also let me call United from his phone. I had to sweet talk the United lady. And eventually I had her laughing and everything. And I found out that it was her Friday. And I was like, hey. And then, we started chatting. And then she, because they were going to charge for the changes. I saw people crying. They were charging them for the changes. They couldn't get their money back. People were yelling on the phone. But I didn't have to pay anything. Thank goodness. So I went from a 6:33 p.m. flight to a 9:48 a.m. flight, and that's when I texted you and said that we need to talk about this. But here's the thing. Here's the takeaway. The emotional takeaway. Outside of a Star Wars celebration, I have not had interactions with strangers that were that pure in a long time. There was people got mad on the phone, but there was. And I made everybody laugh at one point by saying nothing brings us together like suffering. And everybody was like, that's so true. There were about 5 to, maybe probably like 8 Muslim men behind me that we were all laughing together, and we probably have nothing in common. There was, people from the Pacific Northwest. There was people from Australia. There was people going to Dubai, all these different creeds, walks of life, colors, attitudes. Yeah. Everybody was just really riffing and really we're in the shit together, too tired to be mad, joking, talking about life. Everybody's opening up different snacks that they have. I really felt bonded with those people. And I did eventually find a woman that was heading to Orlando, and we literally spent the night together because we had no choice. She was like, I don't know if I feel comfortable sleeping in an airport. And I was like, that's cool. I'm going to watch a movie on my phone. You can go sleep in a corner and I'll sit a couple seats down so you can do your shit. It was really, really beautiful. I think it was really kind of awesome. I felt so enriched on a human level. And
hey, this is how we win elections. This is how we win elections.
It really felt that way, man. It really felt like the start of the Zohran week was in that airport for me. I was just so taken aback by everybody's little stories, and I learned about people. I asked about their jobs. There was a Korean girl, a few people down from me, and we ended up talking, and she said she worked in publishing, and that she worked for Penguin and everything, and we were talking about that, and And I'm a yapper, you know, like that's not hard for me to do. But I ended up being basically the mayor of like 100 feet of his line
of Terminal E.
Like
I'm looking at
Terminal E.
Yeah, as you're talking, I'm bringing up pictures, and oof, yeah,
it's bad.
Houston.
And after the 7 hours,
well,
I turned around when I got to the end of this leg of the journey before the sleepover. I turned around and there was no change. It was still out in the streets. Yes.
Alan Smithy's kind of getting to where I was going to go. Houston to Central Florida. What's that drive? Are you renting a car? Are you? Did you contemplate that? What's the? Is that legitimate?
It would have been, I believe, 14 and a half hours. Which at that point, it's like I can just to get on this flight that they offered. It would be 16 of sitting around here, and then getting that flight home that I already paid for. Because I'm not getting my money back on the flight. They're just moving me for free.
They're just moving me for free.
So they were charging people for changes, but that's why I was like being so nice to this lady. I'm like, hey, thank you so much. I know you're probably getting so many calls. She's like, well, I'm gonna have to put a special reason why we're not charging you for the changes. And I was like, why don't you put Houston? We have a problem. And then she got a big kick out of that. You got to make them laugh.
Yeah, you did. You got to make them laugh. You did it. You did it the right way. I would have done the same thing. I would have done this. The only airport issue I had was an emergency landing in Phoenix, and Christian Rivacaba and I had spent 10 hours in the Phoenix airport, and we were the nicest to the staff and got the best help. And the people screaming at the people at the gate who had nothing to do with the emergency landing. Yep. Did not get the best help.
Yeah, they're literally receiving you. They have nothing. Yeah. They're trying to help you by taking
nothing to do. Yeah, but it's human nature. And trust me, working in the security industry, I've seen the face of humanity, and it is ugly. I think you learned. You are a community grassroots organizer.
It really did kind of feel that way. It was really great, and it was so funny. People are so funny when they're tired and they're like defeated and they've given up, and they like when people hit fuck it, it's really funny. Like this old man next to me was like, because he had seen me like chatting and like we had like chuckled a couple times, and he finally struck up conversation. It was an elderly man and his elderly wife, and he said, how you feeling, young man? And I quoted, he didn't know what I was quoting, but I did Rick McCallum from the beginning when he's like, this is fucking grim. And I said, this is fucking grim. And then I realized like, oh, like maybe I shouldn't have said fuck with these old people. And I was like, sorry for my language. And the old lady was like, I'm surprised I haven't heard more of that tonight. And it was just adorable. It was great. And then I had Wendy's in the morning. Once the Wendy's opened, I was the first person standing there. Got to talk to those people. It was great. It was really chill. So it was a horrible, bleak experience, and it was awful, and like it just made me angry on the level of like the fact that we're in this shutdown at all, and like look at how they're screwing people during going into the most stressful time of the year for finances and travel. It's going to be really, really bad because this was for no reason. Like Halloween, but even that was a few days before already. This was just a taste of how bad it's going to be. But on the flip, it was that human level of like, wow, like the people that you would have like never talked to. I even said to all the older Muslim guys, I was like, this is very un-American of us. Like we're supposed to be fighting, and they were like, they're like taking selfie. I'm pretty sure that I'm in like 30 selfie videos.
Oh, you probably have
stages of disheveled.
You have a big audience you're not aware of yet. Yeah, you're gonna find it. The update you sent me was horrendous, and and the lack of what's the lack of it's not the airlines, right? It's the lack of TSA employees, right? Is that what's the actual issue, right? Because of the shutdown.
A little bit of everything. Yeah, it was TSA mostly, I think, was the issue. But there also weren't United employees there, so I wonder. Depending on where you are and what airline, there are various stages of like unionization and. There's a lot. Maybe that's part of it, but
a lot of things going on. I'll tell you, man. I haven't flown. I haven't flown this year.
People at all.
Yeah, I haven't flown this year, and usually, Mark and I with our travels, usually 5-6 flights a year. I haven't flown this year, and a lot of this stuff outside of the shutdown is why, but and the costs and everything. But man, you're the mayor of Houston Terminal E. God bless you. All hail, Mayor Diaz.
Look, HW has been dead for a long time. They can rename it after me now.
Oh yeah, Alden Intercontinental Airport.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome.
AIA.
So yeah, that was the last thing. AIA.
No,
that was the last thing I wanted to bring up.
Well, and it ties. It's a preview of what might be coming, and they're still warning it. I'm looking at the news now for Houston. They're like, "Hey, plan to come 4 days early to get your flight," but you got Road Rules Duffy there, threatening to make this happen nationwide because of the damn Democratic shutdown. So that kind of messaging will get through. I still have people in my life who are blaming this all on the Democrats, and maybe there's some blame to go around and blah 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 blah. I get that, but like, we know what the score is. But this is going to be felt. It's going to be felt, and that's not even getting to the snap of it all, right? Though they've been ordered to make November payments by a court, right, by a judge. We'll see if that happens. But to have Road Rules Duffy basically say, well, this is going to happen everywhere. We'll see how that works for them in the next round of elections too.
Yep. Trying to think if there's anything else that was really relevant to bring up. Anything from this week that really stuck out? We talked about Miss Piggy. That was on my mind. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm going to be out of town again this coming week for a very different reason. And
for a very different reason. I'm going to be out of town for a different reason. I can't tell you, but it's very different.
I love how fucking uncomfortable this is.
I can't. It's for a different reason.
What song would this jock spin right now as we wrap up the show? Assuming this is like, I guess his voice sounds like he's like on in the middle of the night.
This is I'll Be Watching You by the Police.
Oh wait, that reminds me.
Every breath you take.
Before we go. Yeah. So Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is out today. I haven't seen it yet because I don't live in one of the 2 markets where it got screens.
Yeah.
You do, but you're not going to go to that. And on the press tour, they brought up one of the interviewers brought up to Oscar Isaac how he's been in like 4 different bands like before he hit it big as an actor,
right?
And how he was in ska bands. And when he says that he was in a ska band, Jacob Elordi is like, ska, like the Police, and I was like, what? Like, do people consider the Police to be ska?
There's some musicality there that I think's connected. It's ska being very, very British specials and whatnot and everything. Yeah. But yeah, that's fascinating. Don't give me started.
That was a fun so I'm going to check that out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Off next week.
And, anything that you want to plug?
Force Center Live, whatever the name will be, in a couple 2 o'clock. Off next week. Check out the blathering, all that stuff. I am joining soon. Excuse me. I'm going to be producing a live show for a YouTube channel called Culture, Faith, and Politics with retired Pastor Pat Conkey, who's the author of the book The Christian Case Against Donald Trump. I'll be producing his live show that's going to start soon, and we're going to try to build that out. So I want you all to jump into that. I'll keep you updated on that when it shows up. Probably, I think, November 18th is the launch date, but we got to make some things, got to work on that. That's why I'm hired. Anyways, that's it. There you go. Force Center Collins Show. That's the name, Sis Smithy. That's the name. We'll see ya. The Mamdani era has begun.
Bye.
Bye. I can't tell you why.